These are the 27 most hated moments in NBA history. And at number 27, LeBron James blocks Evan Turner in the most savage way possible.
Turner got the step on Smith, rejected by James, and a foul.
First the rejection, then the fake sympathy. But next up, Kobe Bryant lets Dwight Howard know how he really feels.
Boozer trying to dig it out and on the doorstep. They've missed about 5 of those tonight. The Lakers have not been able to get it. Howard with the elbows, and Kobe was defending, and some words exchanged, and this goes back to what was the story when...
Dang, this dude really got compared to Charmin Ultra Soft. Although, it still got nothing on what KD did to Evan Fournier.
Fournier on Durant. Gotta like this matchup if you're Brooklyn. Raises up over him and knocks it home. It's nothing but net.
Did he just pinch his fingers as if to say,
too little?
You're tiny.
How am I G gonna call another man small? Then he overcompensated with his size 18 shoes. But if we're talking mental, it doesn't get better than Paul Pierce.
Want to do, and then Paul Pierce offensively is just torching him. Look at Harrington. He's talking to Pierce and talking to each other. Come on, bring it. Bring it, big fella. Show me what you got. Pierce pulls up to a 3. That's what I've got.
My man trash talked another player just to bury a three-pointer in his face. Pierce talked the talk and walked the walk, which reminds me of Kobe Bryant, who didn't just talk the talk. He put his money where his mouth was.
Yeah, look at him.
You know what? That's
Loves this time. Relishes it. And he and Gerald Wallace are having a conversation. That's Kobe and Gerald Wallace going. As Kobe's about to shoot the biggest free throw of the night. 3-point.
Sheesh. That's the Black Mamba mentality at its finest. However, if it weren't for Michael Jordan, the Black Mamba mentality wouldn't exist. Don't believe me? Look no further than MJ's beef with Dikembe Mutombo. During the 1997 All-Star break, Mutombo shamed Jordan in front of other guys in the locker room, and Jordan took notice.
Mike, come on, man. They can't be for it. You haven't got me yet.
Huh?
Mike,
don't even try it. I haven't got you recently. Yeah, I agree with that.
No, you haven't got me in the 6 years.
After getting shamed for never dunking on Mutombo, Jordan knew it was time to put the 7'2" giant in his place. And then, that's when this happened.
Michael get it forward to the fresh shot clock. MJ. Oh, he did it! Oh, Michael shakes the finger, but he finally got his dunk on Mount Mutombo.
Damn, that dunk was already memorable, but the celebration, that's iconic. Which takes us from Michael Jordan and Dikembe Mutombo to Trae Young and the entire city of New York. Because in 2021, the Knicks weren't just heated, their whole fan base was. For reference, it had been 8 years since the Knicks last made the playoffs, but that joy was short-lived. In their first playoff game back, they ran into a brick wall. His name was Trae Young. In the span of just a few seconds, Young went from another opponent to the most hated man in New York City.
Ntilikina in the game now, defensively on the point. Let's see how they play this.
Here is Young, finds his spot. Young on the floater, puts it in. Trae Young.
But don't worry, Trae Young isn't the only one pissing off fans. Kevin Durant has been pissing off fans for over a decade. But have you ever considered KD's feelings?
Kevin, you gotta take this game over. You gotta shut the fuck up.
KD isn't a man of many words, but when he speaks, you better listen. On the other hand, you can't get Charles Barkley to stop talking. But when he does, it's probably not for a good reason.
Oh, yes! 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 Your face!
3 words. That's all it took for Tim Hardaway to get his point across. Take note, Shaq. However, in the rare case where you don't get your point across, take a page out of George Niang's book.
Finds Harris. Harris gets a good look, but that won't go. Rebound deflected. Saved by Brown. Looked like Harden got hit. And Brown stops talking to the bench.
When you have to grab another man's leg to stop him, that's probably the first sign you aren't going to win. Either that or Drake is talking smack. That's when you really know you're going to lose.
First appearance in the NBA Finals. Get the victory here in Game 1.
Now, normally, I call this over the top, but since it's Draymond, I don't think Drake went far enough. After all, Draymond is also the type of guy to kick someone when they're down.
Scary Terry, they call him there. They've kind of got their identity back.
Why do guys get Boston nicknames? Tony Allen was trick or treat Tony.
Draymond, you could even beat Kevin Hart in a 3-point contest. But now that we finished what Drake has started, it's time for our next target, Dylan Brooks. See, if there's one person that won't stop talking trash, it's Dillon Brooks. Now, every now and then, you dig yourself a hole that you can't get out of. And in this case, Brooks dug himself a hole the minute he didn't subscribe to the channel. Well, that, and he started bad-mouthing LeBron.
LeBron had that exchange. There are people out there that say maybe you shouldn't do that with one of the better players in the game.
I don't care, he's old.
He wanted James, he gets him. James drives. James is fouled!
What do no-shows to press conferences and first-round exits have in common? I think you already know the answer. But before I ask any more rhetorical questions, you gotta hear about Devin Booker. Unlike Brooks, he picked an even bigger fight. Ain't that right, Luka Doncic?
By Cleveland to the rack, shot from behind by Finney-Smith. Down goes Booker.
And they are. Everybody acting tough, but they are. Everybody acting tough.
Well, the Phoenix Suns know they have an assassin in the house, averaging 39 points in elimination games in his career.
27-point lead, down goes Johnson, outside. And Doncic shot clock is down to 4, and a 3 by Luka. Got it. 4. Oh, what a move by Doncic. He just did a pirouette and got it to go. And how about 10 Mavericks? Wow. Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks are going to the Western Conference Finals.
If there are 7 words to take away from this video, it's that everyone acts tough when they're up. Unless you're Charles Barkley. Then it's only 2 words to take away.
2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
What? That's more than 2 words.
You didn't say 2 words. You said quick to the point.
You just said I got 2 words.
Although if you thought Booker was trying to act tough, watch what Cameron Payne tried to pull off.
You was able to cigarette, you can't, let's go, I'll give it.
Let's ain't talking shit now. Stay humble now. Stay humble. Come on now. You used that home a year and a half ago. Now you want to pop off?
Oh yeah, we squashed it right then and there. You know, we just had a disagreement about something that was on the floor. So we both very passionate about winning. We didn't want to lose this game, and that's my brother. That's my teammate.
Dang, Cameron Payne tried to start a beef and ended up receiving a humble pie instead. However, do you know what's worse than eating a humble pie? Seeing the Teague brothers up close. Or at least that's what Paul Pierce says.
Kevin Garnett. And of course misses on the first attempt. Paul Pierce trying to check in for Kevin Garnett.
Come on, man. Don't throw Mama Teague into this. That's picking a fight with the entire family. Although LeBron isn't interested in starting a family feud. He'd much rather start a war with the great Steph Curry.
It's bedlam here in Cleveland. Curry blocked by James. Both sides of the floor. Says to the 2-time MVP, get it out of here. Not on my watch. And then how about the decision?
Safe to say, 2016 LeBron was a different breed. He was a man on a mission. But like every mission, there's a challenge you won't see coming. And in the NBA, challenge is another word of saying referees. In fact, some calls are so bad, it forces the game ball to start playing favorites.
So the 2 free throws called at this point in the game. Ball don't lie, just yelled out. That's the old Rasheed Wallace phrase. Ball don't lie twice.
In just 3 words, Larry Nance managed to say what the entire city of Cleveland was already thinking. Speaking of which, I have 3 words for you. Entertaining, intense, and legendary. All words that describe the 9 most heated NBA moments of all time. And at number 9, Michael Jordan makes it painfully clear why he's the all-time great.
You and Michael in close quarters, and he's a good talker. I mean, we did. So what would you hear from Michael?
You know, everything. I mean, from Michael, one time I know he started counting backwards. You know, he said something like 38, and I didn't get it, Reggie. You know what I mean? And he started saying 36. I said, wait a minute. So he's going backwards. And now if he gets to 0, he got 40. But it was me and Michael had a lot of talk.
Wow, Jordan scored 40 points and does math. But I also do math. On the other hand, Ron Artest talks trash to Kobe Bryant, only for it to blow up in his face.
He was leaning on him, trying to move him on.
All the 3-point shooters coming in for the Rockets. Not that that's only 8 seconds to play. Kobe and Ron still talking.
They did.
That's why he's MVP last season.
That's why they will easily. That's what he's at. Well, that's the largest lead of the game, and we'll get the roll.
We are now living in a world where Ron Artest is a comedian and Chris Rock's face is a punching bag. But now it's time for our actual number 7 moment. The time Steph Curry got ejected for throwing his mouth guard. No, not that time.
And
And a whistle. Steph Curry been ejected with 1:14 to go and Golden State leading by 2.
Yet somehow, that wouldn't be the only mouth guard getting tossed around.
Small game. He sees Steph and he throws the mouthpiece away like, yo.
From getting punched in the face and risen up baddies to trolling Steph Curry and getting traded to the Wizards, Jordan Poole has had himself quite a year. Just like Patrick Beverley in 2023, who went from playing alongside LeBron to the poverty-stricken Chicago Bulls. But then again, maybe Beverley had it coming to him.
And they're walking like zombies too because they're stunned. They had themselves a big-time lead at intermission.
By the way, pre and post.
Sheesh, who doesn't love to give Damian Lillard a hard time? Speaking of which, Russell also tried to start a beef with Lillard. Here's how it began.
Stop.
That's what Oklahoma City needs to do.
But little did fans know that the beef was just getting started. 3 years later, this happened.
He was making those kind of moves and then shooting the ball at a great clip.
Westbrook is off balance. He banks it in. And a foul called on Damian Lillard. Count the bucket and send Westbrook to the line.
And you see
That's when Damian decided enough was enough. It was one thing to kick the ball out of his hands, but doing the rock the baby celebration, that's where he drew the line, culminating in one of the most epic game winners.
To send the Thunder home. Lillard, long-range three, and it's good! At the buzzer! Damian Lillard! Are you kidding me?
It always feels good to win a playoff series, but doing it against your enemy feels so much sweeter. But now it's time to stop talking about Westbrook and Lillard and start talking about James Harden and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Because in 2020, it became blatantly clear there was tension between the two superstars. See, in 2019, James Harden had arguably his best season ever, averaging 34.3 points and 7.5 assists per game. But unfortunately for the Beard, there was one person standing in the way of his second straight MVP award, the Greek Freak. However, not if Harden had anything to say about it. He came out multiple times saying that Giannis didn't deserve to win the award. Only little did Harden know, but the Greek Freak was keeping receipts. So when an opportunity arose on national TV, he made sure to return the favor. This opportunity just so happened to be the 2020 NBA All-Star Draft.
I'm between Kemba and Trae Young.
Wait, you
don't
want the dribbler?
I want somebody that's gonna pass the ball. That's what I want. So I'm gonna go with crossover killer, step back master, Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker, all right. Yeah, you can see that coming.
Whoa, Kemba Walker over James Harden? That one's gonna stay in Harden's beard for a long time. In fact, Harden was so pissed that he even went on air suggesting Giannis doesn't have any skill, as he's just a 7-foot giant who happens to run and dunk the ball. Check it out.
When it's all said and done, they'll appreciate it more, but I wish I could just run and with 7 feet and run and just dunk. Like, that takes no skill at all. I gotta actually learn how to play basketball, how to have skill, I take that any day.
Not gonna lie, this is starting to feel like high school drama all over again. But it's one thing to start drama, it's another to be in way over your head. And in 1987, a rookie Reggie Miller learned this lesson the hard way.
My rookie year, we were playing the Chicago Bulls, and Chuck Person, who's on my team, who's a trash talker as well, is like, can you believe Michael Jordan? You're out here killing him, Reg. This is in the first half. He's like, you should be talking to him. He's like, you're right, Michael. Who do you think you are? The great Michael Jordan? That's right. There's a new kid on town, right? So at half, I have 10, and he has 4 points, right? I'm doing all this talking. He's like, okay. End of the game in the second half, he ended up with 44. And I ended up with 12. So he outscored me 40-2. And as he's walking off, he's like, "You sure? And be careful. You never talk to Black Jesus like that." Okay, I'm so sorry.
There are 3 types of people you don't mess with: your parents, your elders, and most importantly, Black Jesus. Actually, I almost forgot. Add Carmelo Anthony to the list, because in a 2013 game, Kevin Garnett broke the 2 rules a man should never break. Rule number 1, don't talk about another man's woman. And rule number 2, what happens in the bedroom stays in the bedroom. And let's just say Carmelo wasn't having any of it.
Picks him up on the switch. Anthony now guarding Garnett. These two guys. Anthony's going to pick up his 5th title any minute. Now, Anthony and Garnett have to be careful. They're barking at each other right now.
The officials should get in there.
And there it is, a double technical.
Yeah, the officials should make them stop.
But if you thought Carmelo was finished, you'd be dead wrong. After the game, he got so worked up, he waited for KG at the team bus.
Well, Carmelo let it spill over to after the game. You see him in the red hat right there, waiting alongside the Celtics team bus for Kevin Garnett.
Carmelo told KD.
Safe to say, Honey Nut Cheerios will never be the same again. That said, it still doesn't come close to our top moment because this moment was so legendary, it cost the Golden State Warriors a championship. After all, if there's one thing you shouldn't do in the NBA Finals, it's piss off LeBron James. After Game 4 of the 2016 NBA Finals, Thompson did just that.
Obviously, people have feelings and people's feelings get hurt, even if they're called a bad word. I guess his feelings just got hurt.
And if you thought that wasn't going to light a fire inside James, guess again.
I'm not going to comment on what Clay said because I know where it can go from this sit-in. It's so hard to take the high road. I've been doing it for 13 years. It's so hard to continue to do it, and I'm going to do it again.
All that to say, I think you know what comes next. After losing Game 4 and staring down a 3-1 deficit, the Cavaliers rebounded. And more notably, LeBron played some of the best, most inspired basketball of his career. Over the next 2 games, James averaged 41 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, 3.5 steals, and 3 blocks. Put simply, it was nothing short of brilliant. But he wasn't finished yet. He followed up these performances with a Game 7 showing for the ages, scoring a 27-point triple-double to win the Cavaliers' first ever championship.
James steps back. He tries another 3. That's good. LeBron James from downtown. He's 4 of 6 from that distance.
I said it before, against a great
one. To put into words how dominant LeBron James was, listen to this. During the 2016 NBA Finals, LeBron became the first Finals player to lead both teams in all 5 statistical categories. That's not to say LeBron is or is not the GOAT, but it does prove one thing. Crazy things happen if you piss off an NBA legend. And if you thought that was heated, then I suggest you click the video on the video. Because if you don't, you'll find out what happens if you watch to the end of the video. In 3, 2, 1.